My name's Hazim Gaber, and today we're going to be talking about SONET. So, what the hell's a SONET? Well, we were talking about fiber, and we were talking about asynchronous and synchronous transmissions. So, synchronous means both sides know what time it is. And why is that important? Because, if Alice is sending messages to Bob, and she's sending them at random times, plop, 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 plop. And Bob has to always be paying attention, and he's not always paying attention. So when the message arrives, it's already too late. He's already, the first bit of the message woke him up, and then he's only ready to hear the rest of it. And that's not good. So Alice has to add a warning to the front of the message and a warning to the back of the message. And the front of the message says, "Hey Bob, the message is starting," and then Bob can pay attention to the full content of the message, and then he'll know when it's over. Now, if we did a synchronous transmission, then Alice sends a pulse down the wire which synchronizes Bob's clock. And then Bob, checks for messages at regular intervals now. So he doesn't have to worry because he knows exactly when the next message is coming and he won't miss any portion of it. So a sonnet is synchronous optical networking. And the idea was, what if we could send all of our data over a fiber? And I digress. But originally, remember we talked about this earlier, we had what we call the DS1 frame. So we had voice, we had 23 channels, right? So CH1, CH2, CH23 or whatever. And the Europeans had 30 channels. And so this frame had to be transported over a long distance. And this was just voice, right? This became the T1. So to run this over a fiber, we had to get a box called a multiplexer, which took a whole bunch of DS1 frames, and then it packaged them, in a way that they used what we call the time division multiplexing. So every frame got a slot in the transmission, so they all fit on the same line, and then this data signal got converted into optical. So let's repeat this. You're on the phone, you're Bob, and you're on the phone, and you're making a call with Alice. And Alice is all the way is 1,000 kilometers away or whatever. And she's on the phone. So, in order for Bob's message to get to Alice, and remember, there's thousands of people on the phone. So all these guys, their phone conversations, are getting into the frames. So everybody's on the phone, and bits of their conversations are being sampled, and they're being packaged into these DS1 frames, and then the DS1 frames arrive at the central office, and we're trying to fit all the frames on the same cable. So we got a multiplexer that cuts the frame, the cable into, or the time frame into 24 portions, and then it sticks one frame on every portion, and it squishes them all in the same line. And then we get the optical transmitter, which converts this electrical signal into a light signal, and it sends it on a fiber all the way to some other central office. So here's our other central office. We have an optical receiver, which converts this back into an electrical signal, and it goes to the demultiplexer, and then this splits it back up into all the DS1 frames. And a piece of this DS1 frame is a call to Alice. And there's calls going everywhere. So this system worked really, really well until we introduced other kinds of networking like POTS and data and special services, high speed Metro Ethernet, satellite, broadband, and and then cellular. So the idea was, what if we could take all of this kind of data? Because this fiber optic line has massive, massive capacity. What if we could take all of these different data types and send them down the same line? And that's how they came up with SONET. And so this portion here with the multiplexer and the TDM and the DS1 frames, it didn't go away, but we put a SONET here. And then all these decided to talk to the SONET. So the SONET can take data from many different sources and send them, merge them together, send them down the fiber optic line, and then separate them. And the way it does that is remember we said we were operating at 850 nanometers and whatever? Well, we said, what if we can give every service its own wavelength? So this is 850, this is 860, 870, 880, 890, 900, 910. And we send all the wavelengths down the same fiber. They're not going to interfere with each other. And the device that does this is called a WDM. And it's basically just a filter. So it can filter, it can merge the wavelengths on one side and it can filter them out on the other side. And now we have ability to transmit many different types of data and services over a single fiber optic line. And we're talking hundreds or thousands of kilometers. Any questions?